So Torrey Snyder is in the same position that Jay Finlinson was in the last moto. He wins just by making a lap.
Or Revan Smith.
Or Revan Smith, excuse me.
Or Harris. 55.
Revan Smith.
55. Jay Finlinson, 71. Kevin Sullivan in 110. Torrey Snyder down the front straightaway. Running 1, 2, 3 right now.
Jay Finlinson just wicked that thing hard around the yellow buoy at the end of the front straightaway, just in time to get pounded by a wave. He rode it up and over beautifully. The wave pushed him back. When he got back into the water, he was further back towards the shore than when he started going out, but rode it out and continues to lead.
Yeah, look at him down the back straightaway, really opening up a gap now between him and second place, Kevin Sullivan. Torrey Snyder now moving up on Sullivan in that second position down that back straightaway.
Well, Torrey's doing great until the end there, and he gets in the pump wash, and that thing's just bouncing around like a cork. Not able to get enough non-aerated water through that pump to keep him hooked up.
Down the front straightaway they go at the halfway point in this third moto.
We need vintage 550 ski to the line, please. Vintage 550s to the line. Finlinson continuing to lead and extend. Here comes Torrey Snyder. I'll tell you what, Torrey Snyder has been in the back of Kevin Sullivan, and every time Torrey reels him in, seems like he hits that pump wash and just goes backwards immediately. Torrey had 2 moto wins yesterday, so he's going to get the overall, but it's really surprising that he's not up front.
Well, yeah, I mean, that EX that Finlinson's on, man, that's got some get up and go because he is pulling away from the 2 riders in second and third, and Snyder really dominated yesterday.
Well, you look at the power to weight ratio there too. Jay's, I'd say, significantly less weight.
Yeah, he can ride that. He can really ride that.
No, he's riding
no doubt
for
about
sure.
it.
And I think it's mid-range power that thing seems to have, just watching him, which is why I said the power to weight ratio. Doesn't seem like he's got any more top speed, but boy, buoy to buoy, that thing scoots.
Yeah, it's
so that could be prop, that could be a lot of things.
It's really dialed in, and his dad was mentioning earlier this morning, a little bit ago, right down below us, they had that ski parked, and he was saying that the ECU work that had been done on it was really impressive, and I would have to agree.
Yeah, well, he also said it's not even done. That was just the first. The
other thing is, Jay being a stand-up rider, he's already been out there. He's got this course, he's got a lot of laps in already this weekend. And so dealing with this course on a runabout is probably kind of a easy ride compared to being on a stand-up.
Yeah, right.
There.
But not after you've already been on the stand-up.
So he
did back-to-backs, right? Or almost back-to-backs.
Almost.
Yeah.
But at 14 years old, I think the energy level is significant to just push through these tough motos.
Yeah, he'll come back and do another one.
Oh, there's nonstop all day. These kids just ride. It's amazing to see them because they put in moto after moto.
You remember Blair Gillespie?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Jay reminds me of Blair. Not quite as tall.
Yeah, I think his dad was a real nice guy too, if I remember correctly.
Yep. They were a lot of
fun
family.
Raced for quite a while there. Back in the day, as they say.
Yep.
All right, checkered flag going to come out for boat number 55. Jay Finlinson's going to take the win here in moto number 3 of IROC Stock.
What a great job for him. Kevin Sullivan taking his second place finish of the weekend.
Kind of interesting. The IROC class has gone from all Sparks to all Yamaha EXs.
Right. Well,
that's how it is in this sport.
Well, if one's winning, that's, you know, the real competitors. They're going
To combine these different watercraft into one class is pretty tough to do.
That was? All right. Congratulations. That was Jay's first race on that EX.
Well, I'm not that surprised. He's a very talented young rider, and like I said, such a good stand-up rider.
Yeah.
That he can translate those skills right onto that EX Yamaha, no problem. It's not a big runabout. You know, it's not a 300 horsepower monster runabout. It's a nimble, smaller runabout machine, and you know, to translate those skills, it doesn't surprise me he's looking that good.
Yeah.
Vintage Ski 550. The suffering continues.
Let the carnage begin.
The Sufferfest commences. This guy's pumped on the starting line, ready to rock and roll. Good to see you guys down in the line on those 550s. A look back at the history of the sport right here. This is where it all began with these hulls. And 440 and 550 cc twin cylinder two strokes. So like to, while we get started, we look back at the history of the sport with these 550s on the line. Gives us a chance to welcome everybody around the world to South Padre Island, a beautiful location.
I'll tell you what, for those who have never been here, I was one of the uninitiated.
Myself included, Kurt.
Just spectacular vistas. Looks absolutely gorgeous here. You look out at the water, especially with our polarized glasses as we were playing yesterday.
Quite beautiful here. I'd like to welcome everybody in, and hope you enjoy the racing today. Another good day of racing on tap here in South Padre. This is the third round of the 2019 Pro Watercross National Tour presented by Broward Motorsports. Kurt Nolenberg, Rick Lake, and man, we are having a heck of a weekend.
We've been having such a good time here. The people have been fantastic. The racing has been off the hook.
Let me get that.
Yeah,
You're sweating. It's a little muggy.
Thank you. Give you a dab right
Here,
there.
right there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I knew you worked in Hollywood. No, and truly, the racing has been spectacular. The conditions have been consistent, but consistently rough.
Very rough. I mean, this is like deja vu all over again here.
I'll tell you.
Third round in a row. We've got surf conditions and these riders that have been following the tour, and we have our full contingent of, almost full contingent of tour regulars here. And I tell you, by this third round, they've had Pensacola Beach surf, Daytona Beach surf, and now here in South Padre, more surf, more rough, choppy conditions. And these guys are getting dialed in these rough conditions, Kurt.
Well, you could see the difference between these riders as our race takes off in front of us with the vintage 550s. You can just tell these riders from the first moto of the first tour round in Pensacola, and let's be honest, it was really rough that first day.
Brutal.
We had to stop the racing because of a water spout, and yet we had some fantastic racing. I'm hoping for a storm in Racine.
I don't know. I don't know how these riders are going to respond to a flat water race next time we have one, if we ever do again.
Yeah,
because Lake Michigan could serve up some nasty conditions. Probably Lake Hartwell, Georgia, will be
That'll be
a
the
flat
water
water
race. Yeah, it always is, and that's where the high horsepower, how fast can you spin machines tend to dominate.
That's very true. And right here, back to the racing action in South Padre, the 550, vintage 550s on the course, and really a look back at the history of the sport. And these riders are competing in some tough conditions, but they're giving it everything they have. They're local, relatively local riders, meaning they're from Texas.
They're all Texas riders. I'll tell you what, this morning, these guys have got it dialed. Yesterday, it was
They were
comedic
pumped
at times because we didn't have one boat up and running, Now these guys are hitting it.
Well, they're getting used to it. They're getting a little dialed in on the conditions, but still very, very challenging. And as we were saying just a little bit ago, if you're not able to practice,
Right.
you know, and really ride in these conditions consistently, and this is not your thing, boy, to come out here into the ocean and race when it's this rough on a vintage 550 hole particularly,
Right.
that's a tall task.
It's like, hello, here we are.
Man, it's brutal, but these guys are pushing through. It's fun to see, and it really gives us a nice look at, you know, what we were
The
doing
difference.
back then
Yeah,
and
yeah.
what things are today.
Boy,
and
the
it's
difference.
dramatic, isn't it?
Oh, the technological differences are numerous, and let's just face it, the new skis are so impressive. I mean,
Yeah.
a GP 1800 compared to a 89 Sea-Doo SP. You know, whoa, we just had one of our 550 riders go up, come down, and holds on to it, though.
And
I
this-
got to say,
Yeah, no, these guys are battling.
they're sticking with the boats. Of course, if you're in the surf, you want to stick with the boat. Very important. Stay with the boat.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons a lot of guys have bad shoulders that have raced
Yes, I was
ridden
just
for a long
thinking that.
time because
Yeah.
you don't let go and you just get that that arm yanked out on the throttle hand
Yeah,
usually.
just ask Valentina Lescano.
Oh, exactly. She's suffering from a separated shoulder as she races this weekend.
Yeah.
So,
I'll tell you what, that is one tough girl out there.
And she's impressive, no doubt about it.
Amateur runabout, box stock. You guys are up next. Race number 6.
Out on the racetrack, number 0 is Chad Connor. Chad out of Grapevine, Texas, 45 years old. Boat number 7 is Kalen Wade out of Bedford, Texas, 30 years old. And I believe Vu Tran, number 13, out of Houston, 26. And one of them's not out there, 720 Evan Wadehofer out of Seabrook, Texas. We got some Texas towns here, and
Yep.
I'm not sure where they're at. This is a big state, Kurt.
Well, Seabrook, that's right up, yeah. I have no idea.
Right outside
Ouch.
of Houston. Thank you, Van, one of
Yeah.
our TV crew here this weekend. Shooting
Kalen,
for
what-
CBS Sports Network.
Kalen Wade is doing his best Scott imitation, trying to do a Hollywood corkscrew there.
This is not freestyle.
No, it's not, but he's doing a real good imitation of it.
And mercifully, the white flag is out.
That means amateur runabout box stock to the line. Oh,
So
Eduardo Lopez is ready to go.
So Seabrook is next to Houston, near Houston then, correct? Is that Van? Seabrook's near Houston? South of Houston,
Near
okay.
Galveston? Kind of.
How about Grapevine and Bedford? North? Oh, really? Yeah. Wow, those guys made the drive. Awesome to see these Texas riders coming out here. Of course, their drives are been kind of minimal compared to some
22
of the
hours,
tour
23
regulars that have
hours,
gone
yeah.
22, 24-hour drives. And impressive to see all these tour regulars here. I was so stoked. And major kudos to everybody that made this drive out here to South Padre. And everybody I've spoken with is really happy. They love it here. It
Right.
was a long drive, but you know what? This place is awesome. We love it.
Totally worth it.
And all worth it. So
Yeah.
kudos to everybody here this weekend. It's really impressive to see the commitment to the tour and the sport you guys have made. And
Boy,
it's
I'll
fun to
tell
be
you
part
what.
of this.
Yeah, and we're so excited. The way the city has treated us has been really positive, and just the initial feedback that we've gotten, Rick, is they want us back here for sure. And I'll tell you, I, for one, would love to come back. You know, I'd love to have this place 1, 2, 3 times a year, but unfortunately it's so far away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely worth a trip. It's an area that I've always wanted to check out my entire life. I've always heard about South Padre, and now coming here, it did not disappoint, and we're enjoying the second day of racing here, to say the least. And you couldn't have a much better venue for pro watercross racing than
No,
right
not at
here.
all. Not at all.
Got
This will make a good, championship round or something.
It would be awesome because you've got these hotels right behind us, all the amenities, the beach bars, the pools. I mean, everything is right here you could ever want in a venue
right
for
here.
a pro watercross race.
You don't need a car.
You don't need to go anywhere. It's all right here, and it's a lot of fun.
I'll tell you what.
And the locals
Yeah.
are digging it. They that are
yeah.
here. I don't know if they're locals, but the people that are here staying at the resorts, I mean, they're digging it. We had a good crowd yesterday. Checkered flag comes out 7:20.
No,
It's
that was
Evan out
Chet
of Seabrook, weight offer, man. He completes the trifecta with 3 moto wins here this weekend. Congratulations to Evan.
That's a 0 of Chet Connor. Always already in on the short.
Yeah,
Got it,
Evan's
okay.
pumped up. Great win
Thank
today.
you. Nice. Yeah, first and a first. That's like first.
You can't do much better than that, as far as I can tell.
Hey, even my math, that's a win. That's an overall win.
Amateur runabout box stock on the starting line.
On the number 55 out of Miami, Florida, via Argentina, I do believe, sponsored by Miami Jet Ski Shop. On the 5'5", Eduardo Lopez.
I don't believe the 248 is going to be down there of Wayne Cato. That's the boat that suffered earlier with D-Mac during the SUP-CROSS race. I'm not sure what that one on the left in front of us is, but I do know that 876 is Charlie Smith out of Hartsville, South Carolina, on the Riva Racing Champion Power Sports D-Mac Racing Yamaha.
Right, that's just to point out, it's an 875. It sure looks like a 6, unless you walk up to it.
That's correct.
If you walk up to it. Did you say anything about the 808?
808, I did not.
Yeah, 808, Graham Hunt out of Mooresville, North Carolina. He's sponsored by Riva Racing, Champion Power Sports, Fly Racing, Jet Trim, Jet Pilot, and Hydro Turf. And Graham's been putting some laps in already today.
And that must be 466 out of Bedford, Texas, on the Yamaha. Joe Borelski on the line, because I'm fairly certain that the 248 of Wayne Cato is not going to make it here
Yeah, I don't think that
to the
boat's-
starting line today, at least this morning. They must be working on that ski. It ingested a tremendous amount of water.
Yeah.
Comes our final rider through in vintage 550. And you got a vintage 550 coming in next to these big full-size runabouts. Man. So Graham Hunt on the inside pole position. Graham with a pair of wins yesterday, looking for the clean sweep here today.
Yeah, he was strong off the line yesterday, able to hold it all the way through. There was some, well, let's see, Wayne Cato, if I remember. Yeah, Wayne Cato riding Dennis Mack's ski was a strong second in Moto 2 yesterday.
And here we go. Graham Hunt on the inside gets a great jump. Looks like he's got some really clean water, and he is going to head into the first turn all by himself with the lead.
That's a good way to check in early. Charlie Smith battling side by side with Eduardo Lopez for second position. Lopez takes over. Smith relegated to third. And Eduardo Lopez, glad that he's got that boat up and running. He's in that second position. Out in front, though, Graham Hunt has just been dominant.
Yeah, Graham Hunt comes down the front straightaway with the race lead. Boat number 808, Hunt, out of Mooresville, North Carolina, on the Riva Racing Yamaha. And he's got a pair of wins, as we said yesterday, in Motos 1 and 2. And he's looking for a clean sweep here. But Eduardo Lopez.
All right, I was just going to say,
Put a
he's
little
not
pressure.
having that. Yeah.
No.
I will not be having any of that, says Eduardo Lopez.
55 is on the gas trying to track down Graham Hunt down
Boy.
that back straightaway. Let's see who's got what.
Charlie Smith. Oh, major error for Smith. As big as Charlie is, he is getting beat up back there, being behind both of those boats in the pump wash. And as he heads comes into shore off the backside. I saw him just sub that thing, able to stay on. We call Charlie Smith the Crusher because his hands are so strong, you never want to shake hands with him.
One more time, our race leader, Graham Hunt, now trying to stretch it out. Eduardo Lopez and Charlie Smith giving chase.
Oh, yeah.
Down the front straightaway.
Whoa, and Hunt almost comes off.
He just plows right through a breaker coming right into his face.
Yeah.
And hangs on and continues to charge.
He had to put his goggles back up. They fell down out of his helmet. That's how much hydraulic force he got. And Charlie Smith made the move into second, and he's chasing down Hunt. Look at Charlie Smith.
And he is on fire right now down that back straightaway. Charlie going to get after, gets right around Lopez, and then now really closing the gap quick on Hunt.
I'll tell you.
This is amateur runabout box stock. So these boats are close to what you get on the dealer showroom floor. Little ECU tuning, little handling components, little pump dialage, and you're ready to go racing.
Halfway flags are out. We need Sport GP. Junior Sports Stock to the line, please. Race number 7.
Yeah, that last lap when Hunt took that wave full force right through his body.
Yeah.
Luckily, it didn't peel him off the ski because we do see that happen. But that allowed Charlie Smith to really make a gain, and now he's got the pressure on Hunt. So if Hunt makes any kind of mistake, Charlie's going to be all over him. Right,
and you can't even call that a mistake by Hunt. It's just the way the wave action was, and when he got there, whoa. Boy. Hunt went up in the air and rolled sideways. I was like, this isn't good.
Well, these guys are flying full throttle down that back straightaway, and they're hitting these rollers coming in sideways.
At massive speed. Boy, Hunt is looking strong today. He really is.
All weekend, he has been really, really dominant, and this is the fastest he's been this year.
Yes, no question about it. You're right, Rick. Yesterday, he was dominant.
Yeah, he has been on the tour all season, as has Charlie and Eduardo Lopez. These guys are racing for points.
Well, I'm glad Eduardo's machine is running. They had some issues with it a couple times yesterday, but they've got it up. Looks like it's running great today. So the gentleman from Argentina racing for Miami Jet Ski Shop's got to be happy with the way the boat is today.
Yeah, these riders just flying around this racetrack. Half the time they are airborne, it seems like, particularly everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
I was waiting for you to say where, because I will say on the back straightaway at maximum speed, there have been a couple really spectacular flights.
Oh, my goodness.
Not people coming off, just, spectacular
they're coming
flights.
in. They're coming in. They're flying over the tops of the backs of the waves. Going out, white flag out, 1 lap to go for race leader Graham Hunt. And one more time to punch through this surf here on the left-hand side of our racetrack.
Well,
north end.
The race director, I guess there was contact with the Coast Guard and their low-altitude radar for a couple of the boats there yesterday. They just really did a sky shot.
Okay.
That's my story, and you're sticking to it.
Okay, you got it. You got it, man.
Boy, I'll tell you what. Graham Hunt is just pulling out all the stops on this last lap.
Well,
he wants nothing to do with Charlie Smith.
No, and he is going for a clean sweep. He has been really fast this weekend. The best, as said, the best he's ridden this season, and he is bringing that Riva Racing Yamaha around for the final time. He's going to take the checkered flag. Great job, Graham Hunt.
All right. Here comes Charlie Smith. Charlie glad to get out of that third-place position. He was stuck in the first 2 motos. And, he's got to be happy to get his boat back.
Yep, these guys been racing all season long now. This is the 3rd round, so a lot of motos. These riders have competed against each other, basically every single one of them in rough surf conditions.
And there's been a variety of boats shared between the riders just to keep them running,
Man, because these conditions, no question, do take their toll on both rider and machine.
EJ Viso, if you're down there, we need to see you at the Tower of Power. EJ Viso. All right, Sport GP on the line. On the number 69 Blaster is Ray Quintana. He's out of Pembroke Pines, Florida. Sponsored by Broward Motorsports, Judge Motorsports, and Hamilton's Customs.
And boat number 111 out of Madison, Mississippi, riding for Judge Motorsports, Jet Trim, Jet Pilot, and Scat Track on the fairly exotic Euro Blaster 3 is Billy Dearman.
And that'll be it. The other riders that were in this class have taken off already or had mechanicals.
Yeah, so Billy Dearman one more time going to go out there on this, like I said, fairly exotic Blaster 3,
Yes,
which was not ever released for sale in the United States. I guess sold only worldwide, maybe just in Europe. Maybe that's why it's called the Euro Blaster.
Well, no, I think they were
no.
available in Japan and in Asia.
Okay, so it's
Yeah.
it's a worldwide thing other than the United States for some reason.
Right.
And
Well,
don't
I
know what
think-
that reason was, but
Well, Yamaha USA didn't
maybe
want them.
maybe they thought they couldn't sell any. That would be the only reason.
I know, they were thinking about bringing back the square nose.
Sold a lot of those.
Yes, they did. With a
But,
four-stroke?
But this boat Dearman's on has got a triple cylinder two-stroke, very, very fast. Obviously a Judge Motorsports built, wickedly powerful engine. And the hull, though, is for me a little bit of a question mark.
You know, it's funny because as you're speaking, I'm watching Billy go out there, and he got the whole shot. He's definitely got the power, but that thing rocks back and forth like no other hull I've seen. I'm not sure that's horrible, but it's interesting.
Well, it is. It is interesting in that, yeah, it does rock. And then even more to my point,
Contraband.
we have seen Billy Dearman have some wicked get-offs on this boat this season, where he has literally gone flying sideways through the air at times. And it's just, I think it's a little bit hard to handle, maybe because that hull was never designed with the type of horsepower that Tim Judge tuned triple cylinder two-stroke has. I don't know.
Or a surf boat too.
But
let's face it.
I don't know what it is, but I know they're working on it. They're going to develop a hull based on this ski that will probably fine-tune a lot of those idiosyncrasies out of it that cause some handling quirks.
Yeah, I think deeper strakes, and that'll take out some of the rocking. And they're working with different sponsons in the back too.
Yeah, they're going to
help.
Sponsons, ride plate, the rocker in the hull, the strakes, all those things come into play. And when you're making a aftermarket hull, of course, you can do whatever you want.
Yep.
And it does require a lot of testing, but in the end result can be phenomenal, as we've seen by the Commander skis that the Matsuras and that team Webster have developed. That's a hell of a handling aftermarket hull.
And Revan Harris and
Revan
Jules
Harris,
Hopkins.
those guys are on. I mean, and
They're
lots of
all
other
doing
companies.
well.
The bullet hulls have been really, really phenomenal